As the New Year festivities approached, a husband presented his wife with a document containing figures that widened her eyes in astonishment. "My dear," he announced, "Mother has outlined who you'll be giving what amounts of money to for the new year." His mother had detailed everything meticulously. To my mother, $450,000. To my daughter, $200,000. To my niece, $70,000. The total nearly $1.5 million from their shared finances. The young woman unexpectedly agreed. Hello, dear listeners. I'm delighted to welcome you to my channel. I have a new, interesting story for you. Enjoy listening. Larissa had always believed that patience and the ability to overlook minor issues were paramount in a marriage. However, these minor issues had a tendency to accumulate, much like dust under a bed that no one bothers to clean. Then, one day, you open your eyes and realize you're suffocating. She had married 3 years prior. She met Oleg at a shopping center. He helped her carry heavy bags to her car, and his charming smile made her melt. 6 months later, they had a wedding, modest but sweet. However, her mother-in-law, Lyudmila Fyodorovna, made it clear from day one who was in charge. "My Olenka always dressed like this," she would say, gesturing towards her husband's sister, whose lips were painted a vibrant scarlet. "She had taste, and you, Larissa, are rather plain." Larissa remained silent, smiled, and nodded. She worked as an accountant for a large company, earning $120,000 per month. For her city, this was a substantial income. Oleg worked as a site supervisor, his salary fluctuating between $80,000 and $100,000 depending on the projects. They lived separately, renting a 2-room apartment for $35,000. Yet, every weekend, Lyudmila Fyodorovna expected them for a family lunch. These lunches often turned into a marathon of complaints. Her mother-in-law found fault with everything: Larissa's hairstyle, her new shoes, the way she cut salad. Oleg would merely wave it off. "Oh, Mom, she's just worried. She wants us to have a good life." Their good life continued as long as Larissa quietly complied with instructions. She brought the wrong cake. She gifted her mother-in-law a scarf in the wrong color. She lost 5 kilograms, appearing gaunt. But the truly interesting part began when Larissa received a significant bonus. After a year of work, the company paid her 500,000 rubles. Larissa dreamed of taking a vacation with her husband, or perhaps saving for a down payment on a mortgage. But Oleg, upon hearing about the bonus, joyfully informed his mother. The next day, Lyudmila Fyodorovna called. "Larissa, dear, I've been thinking. We have a tradition in our family of helping each other. You know, I raised 2 children on my own. Oleg has always supported me. Now it's your turn." Larissa clutched the phone. "Lyudmila Fyodorovna, I was planning to set aside this money." Her mother-in-law's voice hardened. "You live in a rented apartment because my son puts all his effort into his work. And you received a bonus and want to hide it?" "I don't want to hide it, You're selfish," Lyudmila Fyodorovna cut her off. "Oleg, talk to her." And Oleg did, that evening as they sat in the kitchen. "Larissa, what's the big deal? Mom really needs it. Her roof is leaking." "Your mother is a school vice principal. She earns $90,000, Larissa said quietly. "And she owns her apartment. She can save herself." Oleg frowned. "Are you counting your mother's money? Seriously?" "I'm not counting. I just want us to think about our future." "Our future begins with respect for family," Oleg stated firmly, and left the kitchen. Larissa gave her mother-in-law 50,000 rubles for roof repairs. She accepted the money without thanks, as if it were her rightful share. A month later, Larissa learned that Lyudmila Fyodorovna had bought herself a new fur coat. Year after year, Larissa worked, saved, and remained silent. Her mother-in-law devised new ways to extract money. First, Oleg's sister Olga urgently needed money for a vacation. Then, Lyudmila Fyodorovna's cousin Zoya required funds for dental treatment. Each time, Oleg convinced Larissa to help. She complied, clenching her teeth. Then, December of 2024 arrived. Larissa received her annual bonus of 800,000 rubles. The company had performed exceptionally well, and the management generously rewarded its employees. Oleg was the first to know, and of course, immediately called his mother. That evening, he came home beaming. "My dear, Mother has drafted a list of who you'll be giving New Year's gifts to." He handed Larissa a sheet of paper, neatly written in Lyudmila Fyodorovna's impeccable handwriting. Larissa took the paper and read, To Lyudmila Fyodorovna, 450,000 rubles for a sanatorium trip and new furniture. To Olga, 200,000 rubles for a car. To Zoe, amount missing, rubles for grandchild's gifts and clothing. To Vitaly, Lyudmila Fyodorovna's brother, 50,000 rubles for garage repairs. To Anton, nephew, 30,000 rubles for a gift. Below, a note was appended. Total, 800,000 rubles. Oleg, please ensure Larissa distributes everything correctly, her entire bonus down to the last kopeck. Larissa looked up at her husband. Is this serious? Yes, it is, Oleg smiled as if offering her ice cream. Mother thought this would be fair. You received the bonus for no reason anyway. For no reason. Larissa felt something inside her quietly but irrevocably break. I worked the entire year, 12 hours a day, without days off. So what? Oleg shrugged. It's family. We're not strangers. Larissa looked at the paper again, at her mother-in-law's calligraphy, at this audacious certainty that Larissa was simply a cash cow to be milked whenever desired. Then she smiled. All right, she said softly. I agree. Oleg sighed with relief. I knew you'd understand. Mother will be delighted. I'll even arrange a surprise, Larissa added. Tell Mother I'll prepare the envelopes and present them to everyone at the New Year's table. Excellent. Mother was just hoping we'd all celebrate New Year's together. She's already planned the feast. Larissa nodded, still smiling. I'll do everything as it should be. For the next 2 weeks, she prepared. She bought beautiful, thick envelopes with a satin finish. She ordered congratulatory cards from a printing shop, expensive ones with gold patterns. Oleg was thrilled. You're so wonderful, he marveled. Mother will be shocked by such beauty. She certainly will be, Larissa muttered, sealing another envelope. On December 29th, the whole family gathered at Lyudmila's. The table was laden with salads, hot dishes, and cold cuts. The mother-in-law beamed, accepting compliments. Olga chirped about the new car she intended to buy. Zoya complained about the high cost of living. Vitaly calmly spoke about the garage that was long overdue for repairs. Anton, a young man around 20, scrolled through his phone, clearly bored. Larissa sat silently, a large bag on her lap. Well, Larissa, Lyudmila Fyodorovna finally couldn't hold back. You promised a surprise. I promised, Larissa nodded. She took the envelopes out of the bag. Beautiful, thick, promising. I've prepared gifts, Larissa said, standing up. As requested. Lyudmila Fyodorovna's face lit up. What a clever girl. Oleg, your wife is finally beginning to understand what family means. Larissa silently laid the envelopes on the table. Each was addressed to Lyudmila Fyodorovna, to Olga, to Zoya, to Vitaly, to Anton. Open them, Larissa suggested. Lyudmila Fyodorovna reached for her envelope first, opened it, pulled out a card, and read it. Her face first turned pale, then flushed crimson. What is this? Olga also opened her envelope, took out a card. Her eyes widened. What, are you completely? Zoya grabbed her envelope, read it. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Vitaly and Anton silently examined their cards. The envelopes contained no money, only cards, and on each the same message printed in a beautiful font. Happy New Year. I wish you health, happiness, and independence. May you learn to earn your own way in the new year rather than relying on the labor of others. Sincerely, Larissa. Silence descended upon the table. Lyudmila Fyodorovna slowly raised her head. Where's the money? She hissed. In the bank, Larissa replied calmly. In my account, as my bonus should be. You promised. Olga jumped up, banging her fist on the table. Oleg said you agreed. I agreed to arrange a surprise, Larissa smiled. Here you go. The surprise was a success, judging by your faces. Oleg, Lyudmila Fyodorovna wailed. Do you hear what your wife is doing? Oleg sat there pale, looking at Larissa as if seeing her for the first time. You did this on purpose? He stammered. Of course on purpose. Larissa spoke softly, but each word struck like a slap. You thought I was a fool. that you could write a list and I would obediently hand over all my money, that I would toil my whole life while you reaped the benefits. She glanced around at everyone at the table. Lyudmila Fyodorovna, you earn $90,000 a month. Olga, you're a manager. You earn $70,000. Zoya, you're a hairdresser. Your combined incomes are nearly $100,000. You are all grown, healthy adults, but for some reason you decided my bonus was your personal ATM. We're family, Olga shrieked. Family is about helping each other, not being parasites, Larisa retorted. In 3 years, I've given you over 300,000 rubles. For the roof, fur coats, vacations, teeth. Did you ever once say thank you? Did you ever offer help when I had a crunch at work or when I was sick? You're ungrateful. I'm a realist, Larisa interrupted, and I'm tired of being an ATM for other people. Other people? Lyudmila Fyodorovna sprang up. I am your husband's mother, and that doesn't give you the right to dictate my money. Oleg finally came to his senses. Larisa, do you realize what you're doing? You're destroying the family. No, Oleg, Larisa looked at him intently. You destroyed the family when you decided I owed everyone everything, always. When my desires stopped mattering. When you started listening to your mother more than your wife. But you promised, Olga cried hysterically. I already picked out a car. Pick it out with your own money, Larisa picked up her bag. And my bonus will go towards a down payment on an apartment for myself. Lyudmila Fyodorovna turned white. Olga clutched her chest, feigning a faint. Zoya hissed something about disrespect. Vitaly glumly examined the card. Anton snorted. It seemed he rather enjoyed the situation. Larisa headed for the exit. Larisa, wait! Oleg caught up with her in the hallway. You can't just leave. I can, she pulled on her jacket. And I'm leaving. I won't allow it. Larisa turned. You won't allow it, Oleg? For 3 years, I lived according to your mother's wishes. I tolerated her rudeness, your spinelessness, the endless demands for money. I thought marriage was about compromise. But compromise works when both sides move forward. Here, I was the only one moving. And you know what? I'm tired. So that's it? Oleg's voice trembled. You're leaving me? I'm leaving an illusion. Larisa opened the door. May you one day become a husband, not a mama's boy. She stepped out onto the landing. The cold air hit her face, sobering her. Will you come back? Lyudmila Fyodorovna yelled from the apartment. You'll crawl back on your knees yet. Larisa didn't answer, descended the stairs, and walked outside. Large snowflakes fell, blanketing the city in white silence. She took out her phone, opened a chat with her friend Sveta. Can I crash at your place tonight? Of course. What happened? I'll tell you when I see you. In short, I'm free. Larisa walked along the snowy street, feeling lighter with every step, as if a heavy sack she'd been carrying for 3 years had been lifted from her shoulders. Of course, Oleg called about 10 times that evening, then sent a long message accusing her of selfishness, heartlessness, and betrayal. Lyudmila Fyodorovna sent angry texts. Olga threatened to sue, though it was unclear on what grounds. Larisa silenced her phone and went to sleep on Sveta's couch. The next morning, she woke up with a clear head and a definite goal. A week later, she filed for divorce. Oleg tried to dissuade her, but half-heartedly, as if his mother had told him not to try too hard. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. There was nothing to divide. The apartment was rented, there were no joint savings, no children. Larisa bought a 1-bedroom apartment in a new building, small, but hers. She renovated it herself, painted the walls, hung wallpaper, chose furniture. Every evening she returned home tired but happy. Her career flourished. She was promoted to chief accountant, her salary increasing to $180,000. She made new acquaintances, took on new projects, and pursued new hobbies. One day, a year after the divorce, Larisa ran into Olga at a shopping center. Olga, engrossed in her phone, walked straight into Larisa. "Excuse me," Olga looked up, recognized her, and her face contorted. "Oh, it's you." "Hello, Olga," Larisa smiled. Olga surveyed her from head to toe. New coat, Expensive bag? Confident posture? Living large, Olga sneered. Must be with our money. With my own, Larissa replied calmly. It's much more pleasant that way. Olga scoffed. You know, Oleg got married. He found a normal woman, unlike you. I'm happy for him, Larissa said sincerely. And Mother is finally happy. The new daughter-in-law respects her and helps her. Wonderful. Olga had clearly expected a different reaction. Tears, remorse, envy. But Larissa looked at her calmly, almost indifferently. Don't you regret anything? Olga couldn't help but ask. No, Larissa shook her head. And I should. Olga's mouth opened, but no words came. She turned and walked away, her heels clicking loudly. Larissa watched her go and headed towards the escalator. That evening, sitting in her apartment with a cup of tea, she recalled that New Year's Eve. The faces of her in-laws frozen in horror. Cards instead of money, shouts, accusations, threats. She remembered and chuckled. Then she looked out the window at the city lights, at the snow sparkling in the lamplight, and thought that she couldn't have given herself a better gift for that New Year.